and I was already kind of deviating from the script. And I originally was gonna, to keep my parents happy, get an MBA because I figure an MBA is the path to employability. And a family friend had got an MBA and got a really cool job at Ford. So I was like, why don't I just do that too? And it was my sister. She recommended. She's like, I've worked with a lot of kids and I've grown up in a lot of youth camps. And she's like, why don't you explore being a teacher? I think you'd have a lot more fun. And they're like, that sounds way more fun than an MBA. Because I was doing my degree in IT, so it's a lot of math heavy coding, and it wasn't the most fun, but I was doing well at it. And I applied for teachers college and faked a lot of hours in the classroom and got fake reference letters and just applied and got in. Probably benefited from a little bit of reverse racism.
Okay.
And I was a diversity entry probably. And I went to teachers college and it was cool. My parents weren't happy. My dad was like, you're gonna tie shoelaces and wipe kids' noses for a living. He wasn't happy that I didn't go to U of T either.
Right.
But again, it's within their scope, they don't.
At least you're a professional, but you're not the highest of the professionals.
Yeah, I'm a low.
The pay is less.
The pay is less, and it's a little bit more labor than they wanted me to do. They wanted me to be just a straight neck up white collar exec with a cubicle or something. I don't know what they wanted, but the pay is definitely less. But they looked at it like, well, it's a government job. Government jobs are pretty secure. And then, once you get into it, you realize, oh, this isn't just inspiring kids and lighting a fire in them. It's got, with any job, it's got its politics. There's got a lot of BS before work, a lot of BS after work. A lot of things stacked up against you, a lot of government funding cuts. New politicians come in and make your life more difficult, and the expectations increase. The PR battle between, when teachers go on strike and what the government's able to do and be like, they're spoiled, they're already overpaid, and you end up becoming these full-time babysitters and an integral part of the economy, because if teachers go on strike, where are parents going to put their kids for parents to go to work? And you realize the amount of pressure and what comes with that. So it lost its fun very quickly. And at the same time, I discovered spoken word poetry and just viewed it as something fun to do. Again, excuse to meet girls and perform after work, ways to spend my weekend. And it took a life of its own. I think when I realized that it was a powerful tool to share stories that weren't being shared. I think up until then, everybody complained about representation. We don't see enough people that look like us on TV. We don't, hear these voices. We don't hear these stories. Why is everything based around white folks? And I think for me, this is the first time I was empowered to not complain and just do something and be a voice and share a story. And I would share the most interesting things that I discovered. When I learned about the relationships between Somali pirates and the toxic waste that came up ashore, that came from the tsunami that happened in Indonesia, and realizing, and I'm like, this is a story that needs to be told. So I wrote a song about it. Or, if I took a deep dive in the Israel-Palestine conflict and be like, whoa, this is not black and white. Let's write a song about it. Or if I learned about Punjabi truck drivers in my community going down south, having unprotected sex with sex workers and infecting their unborn children with HIV. So these kids are doomed before they're born. I'm like, this needs to be talked about. And I really looked at it from that lens. And at the same time, I had a job, so I was like, I'm good. And every struggling artist I knew, and full-time artist I knew, which was a struggling artist, I was like, I don't want that life. I didn't have grit back then. I didn't have a work ethic. I just wanted, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Maybe my last year of university, when I knew it meant getting into teachers college, I was able to turn it up a little bit because I had a why. But before that, I was just cutting corners. I was smart enough not to work hard.